Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for Truth Tuesday. My name's Chris Gregg, and I'm the senior minister at First Christian Church here in Brazil, Indiana. And I'm excited about being here for Truth Tuesday. Today, I'm going to talk about something that I think is very, very important, and it kind of sets up our whole lives. And that's how to be positive in a negative world. And I'd like to go to the Bible, first of all, and talk through this passage. The Apostle Paul was a very positive apostle, even in some very turbulent, difficult, troubled times in his life. And here's what he wrote to the church at Philippi in the book of Philippians, chapter 2, verse 14. And he says, "Do everything without complaining and arguing. Don't criticize, don't complain, don't be argumentative." Now, it's our nature, especially in times like these when we're a little bit more stressed, when we have to do a little bit more, when everyone is a little tired, we get a little cranky. And the last thing I want my grandchildren or children to think is, that's grumpy Chris, that's my grumpy dad, that's my grumpy grandpa. And I don't want to leave that kind of legacy. I'd rather for people to smile, to see me when I come into a room, to brighten a room, to be a positive force wherever I am. And I think you should want that too, because what the Apostle Paul says, here's the reason why we should be positive, why we shouldn't criticize, why we shouldn't complain, why we shouldn't argue, so that no one can criticize you. He says, live clean, innocent lives as children of God, shining like bright lights in a world full of crooked and perverse people. We should be set apart. We should be holy. And in fact, in some translations, this idea of bright lights is written shining like stars, that we give illumination, that we give off heat. Now, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be critical thinkers, but our critical thinking should go beyond criticism to be problem solvers in a positive way, to impact our relationships, the organizations, the churches that we are involved, to make positive progress in our lives. And Paul goes on to say, hold firmly to the word of life, the word of God. Then on the day of Christ's return, I will be proud that I did not run the race in vain and my work was not useless. This is so important, this idea that the Word of God is positively charged and that we need to meditate on it. So don't criticize, complain, hold on to the Word of God, know the Word of God, let it change your life in a positive way. The last thing that we want to be is critical Christians, complaining Christians, people that want to run away from us. Now, we might get criticized, but we can apologize, we can consider it, we can change and grow. Let's use that negative energy in a positive way, that we might be a positive people that Jesus would be proud of. But notice what Paul says in verse 17, but I will rejoice even if I lose my life. Now, most of us do everything we possibly can to save our lives, to protect our lives, to gain life. But he says, I will rejoice even if I lose my life, pouring it out like a liquid offering to God, just like your faithful service is an offering to God. So the final way to do that is in a spirit of gratitude, serve others. Get involved in some ministry in some way of serving others because of what you've been given, the grace that you've received, the gifts that you've received. Use them in faithful service for others. So, don't criticize, complain. Hold on to the Word of God. Let it be a positive positive force of energy in your lives. And last, rejoice and serve others with gratitude. Thanks for joining us for Truth Tuesday, and be positive.